third time. Um, Facebook Live didn't work. Apparently, recording it as a video here didn't work the first time, but yeah, I'm not going to edit them together. I'll just, since it was so short into it. My phone, I tried to do it on Facebook Live, and I said killing time before beginning killing any little Eric, and once I typed that and I typed Erik again, it suggested Eriksson, and then I proceeded to follow the suggestions of the awful ear tumor, and I capitalized them as necessary and pluralized tumors. But yeah, I'm sitting here outside the clinic where I'll be getting my radiation treatments. Thursday, I had a dental consult to clear me for the radiation, where, among other things, they did an impression and produced these. The radiation, because of it being up on my ear and such, is going to affect the salivary glands up in here. And it'll also cause what I think they called osteonecrosis, where it's going to partially kill my jaw and make it difficult to heal. So they do a dental consult for any head and neck radiation treatments. The deal with the jaw means that if I have any dental work done in the future, any teeth pulled, they're going to have to go through and give me treatments to help stimulate the healing. I kind of got the impression it might have been bariatric oxygen. Basically get more oxygen there so that the healing took place. But that's if I have any teeth pulled. That's one reason why, instead of the normal schedule of every 6 months, I'm now going to a 4-month schedule, and I'm doing those trays with a couple drops per tooth of a fluoride to help protect the teeth, and I'll basically do those 15-20 minutes every night before bed. Yet another thing to try to remember. But yeah, and then the salivary glands, that comes about because of the salivary glands. The salivary glands, I've got one right up in here that is probably going to get a halfway decent dose. I don't know what the overall exposure plan is, but they'll be dosing all around that ear to get lymph nodes and whatnot. And as such, the salivary gland's going to get a bit of a dose, and that'll tend to dry it out. And the saliva helps, the salivary glands buffer the pH in the mouth. They also help clean the teeth and whatnot. And, Mother Nature's original way of trying to, quote unquote, brush your teeth, except for it be washing. The saliva washes your teeth. So, but because of that, I've got the fluoride trays, or the trays to put the fluoride stuff in, and I'll be stopping over at CVS on the way home to drop off a script, and hopefully be able to get cinnamon flavored instead of mint flavored. I've got friends that love mint. But for me, give me cinnamon. I get cinnamon toothpaste and whatnot. But, Thursday I had that appointment where they did the impressions and did the consult. And today, 12:15, I picked it up and we discussed it a little bit more. And I got a nice piece of paper that reminds me, 15 minutes before dinner. And, he told me how to put the gel in the tray and whatnot. And that was 12:15 was the only time they could fit me in today, and they actually had to do management approval to slide me in at that time. And so if you follow me on Facebook, you saw I stopped off at an Indian restaurant. On this side of the mountain for both appointments. It makes no sense to go back home between them. And so I stayed this side of the mountain and I got myself something for lunch. I filled up my the van because I filled it up before, right as I was leaving town on Friday to head over to Williamsburg to MarsCon. I filled it up and I got home and I drove over here and I was under a quarter of a tank when I got over here, and I go, yeah, that's when I fill it. So, I try to keep it no further down than a quarter, depending upon the time of year or the weather, I'll try to keep it at least a half. If I'm actively thinking I'm going to be chasing, I'll keep it full. I've been known to sit there with the car between 3/4 and a full tank and go fill it up because severe weather was headed our way. But, I filled it up, I ate lunch, whatnot, and so I'm sitting here, as I said on my attempt at Facebook Live video, killing time. It makes no sense to go back over to Waynesboro and come back this way because that's an hour's worth of driving. And, why waste the gas? Why waste the gas? And, I'm sitting here and what time is it right now? It's 2:19, but, I'd waste as much time going over the mountain and coming back this side of the mountain. And, it's roughly 25 miles, so, that's, a gallon and a half of gas each way. It's not worth it. And, so it's just stay this side of the mountain. I'll record this, I'll read a book for a little bit, and come about 3 o'clock or so, I'll head in and, basically wait inside. But yeah, it's a crazy day today, when it comes time for these tomorrow and the rest of the week. I won't have any other appointments, so literally I'll get ready and I'll head out of the house. Let's say they're all at 3:30 this week. If they're all at 3:30 this week, I'll leave the house probably about 2:45 or so. 2:45 should put me over here by 3:15. Actually, given that we're a little bit closer than the Fontaine Research Park, I may be able to cut it to the point where I'm leaving at like 5 till 3 or something like that to head over here. If you're wondering, it's actually water. Most of the time I'll take a bottle like that and I'll use it for, a couple of weeks, filling it with water and such. And I'm not a big fan of buying bottled water. I tried to avoid it this weekend. I actually carried around the I bought one bottle of water, and I filled it from the little I forget what they're called, but they're the big things with the little flip spout on them. And I filled it from those for much of the rest of the day. And what is in the bottle of bottled water? Most times it's city water, straight from the treatment plant for the local town. Maybe run through a little bit of extra filtration, maybe not. You really don't end up benefiting a whole heck of a lot buying bottled water. And it's not any better for you. The only convenience is it's in a small size that you can easily replace. The only time I really want to buy bottled water is if I'm going to be storing it around the house for emergency use. Because you can buy yourself bottled water and it's sealed, and you leave it on the shelf for a year, possibly longer, depending upon things. And they might UV treat it while they're doing it, but given the amount of gallons that they end up bottling and whatnot, 10 seconds exposure to UV light is not going to be nearly, that's being generous, actually. Unless they got a massive light bank system with the pipes running all around and whatnot. But, the best way to think of bottled water is that it's tap water just put into the bottle with a locking cap screwed on. And, you end up potentially leaching chemicals out of the plastic bottle or the coating on the inside of a tin can, and which, of course, as we know, isn't tin, it's aluminum, but, same difference. But a lot of the metal cans have a thin plastic coating on the inside, and you can leach the chemicals out of that plastic coating just as easily as out of the plastic bottle. But yeah, the treatment, I'm going to see if I can't record it. I suspect it's going to be like 5 minutes of getting me positioned on the table, 5 minutes of prep, a minute of exposure, 5 minutes getting me off of the table. I don't expect it to be all that involved time-wise. And, we'll see. This is my first treatment. And, these folks do probably a dozen treatments a day, if not more. But, yeah, so, that kind of catches up from Friday or Thursday's appointment and what I'm looking forward to. And since I can't post this until I get home, if I end up, I don't have the editing set up right now. Maybe I can do it on YouTube, maybe I can't, But, this is at least part one of my update for today. And we'll see from there. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. and I'll see, whether or not I can actually have my phone recording and whatnot when they dose me. So, but yeah, so I've got another hour to wait. I'm going to head in, like I said, probably about, 3 o'clock, 10 after, so get in there a little bit early. And, if they can get me in early, great. If they can't, you know. But I expected today to be a pretty, useless day, get nothing done except for medical treatments. And the great thing is, you know, my boss and my boss's boss and my boss's boss's boss are all sitting there saying, "Hey, you got this. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the time or anything." So, and yeah, I actually joked I got out of the appointment at the dental clinic in time to get on the team call, which, normally it's supposed to be a Monday team call, but it can happen anytime during the week whenever Nick happens to be free, because they've been doing stuff for fundraising and everything else and getting ready for Super Bowl. But it's one of those things of, actually had it on a Monday for a change, and heard some great numbers on how we did over the weekend. And so but yeah, I'm there and I'm going, yeah, and I'm calling in from a hospital, so nobody else should have any excuses for not making the phone call. Joking, and Nick laughed and said, "You're the man." Whatnot, and said, "Yeah, you got this whole mess and whatnot." So they're helping, but yeah. Oh, and I kind of, this wasn't really planned. It was the shirt that I had on the top of the suitcase that I hadn't worn over the weekend. Nope, not today. I think it kind of sums up the day. Nope, not getting anything done today. And, you know, not letting myself get bogged down in the negative stuff that so wants to drag me down. You know, the the real stuff that I'm gonna, you know, I I'm not gonna let negative stuff about me drag me down. I'll worry, I'm gonna try to worry about folks like my best friend. So, you know, she's going through rough times, and I'd rather worry about her than worry about me. But yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this up, and we'll see about what I can do about actually recording the whole deal, and maybe set the camera off to the side or something like that. I don't know, but we'll see. And have a good one, folks, if I don't manage to get that recorded or whatnot. And tonight I'll do a little bit of work. Once I get home, I'll do some work, and then I'll definitely decompress after this. I don't know if I'm going to do some Guild Wars or some Overwatch or something, but or watch a movie. But we'll see. And I'm still worn out, so who knows? Maybe I'll just go to bed and dream of a park out in Salt Lake City on a July afternoon. But we'll see. But yeah, and I'll reiterate something I put into a message. Don't go through life with things unsaid, things unasked. it's natural that with your parents you end up with all those questions. You end up becoming a parent, and your parent passes, and you ask yourself, I wish, or you say to yourself rather, I wish I could ask mom if I was such a pain in the butt when I was a kid. Or ask him about certain things. Was I this way? Was I that way? Whatnot. Those are natural. Um, you try to minimize them. I I really regret the fact that I didn't get to tell mom goodbye in person. I regret the fact that even though it bothered me and whatnot, that I didn't say, Mom, yes, it does bother me, but not spending time with you in your final days or weeks will bother me more. Um, I learned and I applied that where Dad was concerned. And, that's after the Kentucky Derby, I do this sign and I cross my arms and I hug him, giving that sign with both hands, and I see him smile in one of the very few times I ever saw him smile. But, I had so much unasked, so much unsaid with my first best friend, and, with other friends, and especially my current best friend. you know, I I refuse to not, I refuse to not say things, but, you know, be it your best friend or the friend you see every day, whatnot. Driving home, I don't, nothing's likely to happen, but you never know, just a short trip from, 20 miles away may be the last trip you make. And, or you might not wake up tomorrow, or, I could get up, walk in there, and keel over dead. We don't know what 5 seconds from now brings. And, the cancer's driving that home even more. Yes, it's I hate to say a minor form. Um, this could have turned very life-threatening. It's a slower form. It's less prone to spreading and such, but there's a reason why I'm going through radiation treatments. And how many people do we hear about in a year? Oh, they're diagnosed with this with pancreatic cancer, brain cancer, this or that, stage 4, and they're given days or weeks to live. And yes, some of them are given days or weeks to live, and they live a year or 2 or 3 or even more beyond that time limit. And but the next person could be you or me or somebody we love, and we wouldn't have a chance to ask all the questions and say all the things that we wanted to say, wanted to ask, and whatnot. And the questions, how do you feel about me? I feel this way about you. How do you feel about me? Do you also kind of get the feeling that we're soulmates? Or, hey, what's your favorite thing to order at a given restaurant? Stupid little things, but sometimes you're there and you're going, gee, you walk into a restaurant that you remember them mentioning that they liked a given restaurant, and what's your favorite thing to order at that restaurant? And just so many things can go unsaid, unasked, and top of my bucket list, very tip top of my bucket list, is no more regretting things unsaid, unasked. Am I likely to succeed on it? No, but I'm going to do the best I can. And so, with that, I'm going to wrap this up and spend a little bit of time reading the Christmas present that Willow got me. She got me the new Sanderson book, and I'll read it a little bit. And life's just been crazy, and I haven't, I don't do a whole lot of actual reading. Most of my time spent just working or trying to be totally brain dead, and sometimes reading a book's a little bit too much brain activity. So take care, folks, and like I said, I'll see if I can't record this treatment or one of them coming up, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.